Good morning, everyone. Warm welcome to you all once again. Today we are excited to have you join us on this webinar where we're going to be taking a look at the LiTE Marine range, which is quite a unique product range within our offering. There's some different applications and such that can therefore be useful. So yeah, we're ready to get started. If I can just ask if you've got any questions, please pop it through in the Q&A section. Mario and I will take some time to answer every single one of your questions at the end of the session. Cool. So today, once again, I've got Mario, our business development manager, who's joining us to take us through some of the features. Welcome, Mars.
How's it, Charl? Thanks for having me.
So a quick background for those of you who may have not joined our webinar before, just to tell you a bit more about Freedom One and our history. So as it stands, we are actually the largest and oldest lithium iron phosphate battery manufacturer in Africa. So we officially established ourselves in 2012, but really the R&D and research done on this technology started as far back as 2004 by our founder, Mr. Anthony English. So since then, we've obviously grown exponentially. We've grown our ranges. All of you or most of you will know the LiTE ranges, but that's now expanded through to the likes of the Megaton and so forth. In terms of our production capabilities, we're able to put out 3.5 megawatt hours per annum, and that's at our Long Meadow facility here in Johannesburg, where we currently occupy 48,000 meters squared.
I think, Charl, let me correct you there. It's 3.5 gigawatt hours a year.
Gigawatt hours, sorry. Yes. Thanks. That's quite a big difference. So yeah, 3.5 gigawatt hours per annum. We've got 12 unique ranges. So if not the largest, one of the largest product ranges on offer in the world, actually, in terms of the number of different battery variants that we cover. We produce over 200,000 units. Well, we have produced over 200,000 units to date. We have utilized 13 million cells. And as it currently stands, we've got over 350 employees here at Freedom One. So taking a look at the LiTE Marine range. So as I mentioned, this is a unique offering within the portfolio. Essentially, it comprises of model sizes that range from 5 kilowatt hours up to 30 kilowatt hours. But what's special about this offering is that it is available in various voltage options. So the likes of 13 volts, 26 volts, and 52 volts. And it also comes in a more ruggedized IP-rated enclosure. So, taking a look at the enclosure, we're still using our high-grade aluminium powder-coated enclosure, which is now tamper-proof and also waterproof with a IP65 rating. In terms of the protection, as with the standard LiTE range, we've got the standard protection features, protection for overcurrent, cell under and over voltage, temperature, weak cell detection, and other critical events. On the control interface, we've got an RJ45 Ethernet connection for diagnostics and troubleshooting through the eConnect, which can, of course, be done now remotely as these units are equipped with a remote monitoring gateway. In terms of the human interface side, you're able to check on the model your state of charge via the SoC display. There's an error light, an error reset button, and a RJ45 plug for programming. Something I also want to add is a new addition to this unit is that we've also added detachable DC cables. So if you have a requirement for extended cables, it's an easy swap out. With regards to the onboard management, so we've got full battery management system and internal trip protection. So the BMS that this battery uses is, of course, the Ryan BMS. So, of course, a state-of-the-art high-performance BMS that we use in the whole LiTE range. And then, as I mentioned, on the remote monitoring side, these units are equipped with a remote monitoring gateway, which we're going to expand on a little bit later. But essentially, as long as the battery has an Ethernet connection, either via Wi-Fi or Ethernet connection, you are able to remotely monitor your unit.
Thanks for that, Charl. Look, the Freedom One LiTE Marine range is quite an interesting product in our portfolio. Very unique. Comes with a modern, compact design. Everyone loves our white boxes. It's elegant, it's space-saving design. So the space-saving design, or the principle of why we designed it to lie flat, is actually to lie flat in the hull of a boat, which we'll talk about a bit later in some of the use cases. Again, as Charl mentioned, it's IP65 rated, it's rugged and durable for any environment you want to put this battery in. Again, superior in performance, uses 100 amp hour cells that our normal light range batteries use, can discharge and charge at 1C, the temperature range -15 to 45 degrees Celsius. Again, premium grade components, Orion BMS, Life PO4 cells, industrial grade breakers, and enhanced safety and longevity. The Freedom One Light range, marine range still comes with a standard Freedom One warranty, which we'll touch on a bit later, same as our normal light range of products. And as Charl was talking about earlier, the advanced remote monitoring, so where you can remotely plug into this battery to do diagnostics, troubleshooting. I mean, you can be in any random location in the world with your yacht in the middle of the ocean, and if there's a strong enough internet connection, we can log into your battery to have a look at it.
Definitely, yeah. So on the tech support side, they've got some unique insights as to where these batteries are in the world. You know, the standard is that they obviously see our batteries via the portal on land, but we've got a few that move around in the sea, which is quite interesting. And of course, those are light marine units that we see there. So just taking a high-level overview of the types of applications that these batteries can be used for. As Mario mentioned, you know, the initial design was to have a unit that can easily fit in the hull of a boat. But as you'll see, as we progress through the rest of the session, there's actually multiple other types of applications that can be used for. So of course, boats, you know, the likes of yachts and such is an ideal type of application for these batteries. Camper vehicles, you know, trailers that may act as like a mobile office, for instance. The likes of forklifts, locomotive vehicles, whereby you have a requirement for a vehicle in a, let's say, indoor area where you can't necessarily run a petrol engine and have fumes being pushed out. And then lastly, residential type applications, you know, primarily by the coast where there's a high moisture and a corrosive environment. So some of the use cases we've seen our batteries be used for to date are the likes of events and festivals. So something we're very proud of, which is actually a recent use case, is that our marine batteries were used at the Africa Burn Music Festival that's out in the Karoo. And in actual fact, that was the only power supply for the entire music festival. The particular integrator that deployed the system paired it with solar, but it worked perfectly, and the entire festival ran without any issues. Film and production sets. So this is also quite a unique application, but it makes a lot of sense when you think about the way that they operate. When you're working with film crews, you know, the respective staff, actors, etc., they generally operate off an hourly rate. So if you have any downtime on a film set, you can imagine the expenses that are incurred by not having a reliable power source. Emergency and disaster relief, you know, so these batteries can be used for rapid deployment and backup power for essential services and equipment.
I think, Charl, let me touch on the emergency and disaster relief. We've done several mobile ambulances up in Africa with this configuration with the light marine batteries. They've managed to securely put them in casings inside a double cab, single cabs at the back, and has allowed for essential power to be supplied in remote locations, especially for emergency services.
Thank you, Mars. And then, construction and mining sites. So we mentioned like the likes of locomotive vehicles. You know, when you're driving vehicles into tunnels and such, you know, once again, you can't have, you know, petrol engines that are pushing out fumes and such at the end of the day. So that works perfectly for that. And then marine-based applications. So we've got multiple customers that have installed these in their yachts and sailed around the whole world using the Freedom One light marine batteries to power their boats. And then an actual case study. So I did mention it already, the Africa Burn Music Festival. This was actually the solution that we developed for that. So in collaboration with one of our partners, Synergy, we developed a 2.5 meter trailer to essentially house 2 light marine units. These particular LiTE Marine units were actually a custom requirement as they needed something a bit larger than the standard offering. So for this particular application, we developed the LiTE Marine 45 HV, which is not part of our standard offering, but if there is a inquiry for this, we can definitely quote and we can definitely manufacture it. So this particular solution has had 2 of these units, so a 90 kilowatt hour battery, and then we paired that with a 50 kilowatt hybrid inverter. This was then linked up to solar panels on site, as well as backup generators. The units themselves, the trailers themselves can be paralleled accordingly, so you can increase your capacity as you need to. So, I mean, in this solution, the fact that it's on a trailer, it's extremely easy to move around and deploy. So a very cool use case for the LiTE Marine battery. And in this particular unit, the batteries themselves are actually housed at the bottom of the trailer. So they just literally got slid in under here, and then you had your inverter and additional equipment mounted on the sides of the trailer. There's actually a lot of space inside the unit as well to put some tools and stuff as well if you need to.
Thanks, Charl. Touching on the specifications, as you can see, we've got 4 different variants of the LiTE Marine range. I think what everyone might be a bit excited about is if everyone remembered the old 5.4 that we EOL'd a few years ago, we do make a LiTE Marine 5.4 52 volt version of it that's fully compatible with the 5.4 range of past. It goes up to the 10.8, the 2016, and the 3024. What's important to note is that the voltage ranges. So you've got your 13 volts, 26 volts, and 52 volts variances on the LiTE Marine range. And then, as Charl says, we do make the 45 HV on specific use cases, and we've gone a bit bigger in locomotive applications, especially in the mining industry. So, as Charl said earlier, you know, if you've got an inquiry, a query on a specific size that you're looking for, it's something we can always talk about, look at designing something for you, and also touches a bit into the forklift range, where we can design specific batteries to suit certain forklift models and in certain applications. Again, the specification sheet is like the normal LiTE range. You've got your 80% DOD, your max and continuous discharge current, your max and continuous charge current, your min and max voltage range, your nominal voltage. The battery dimensions is what's important. So if you think of a 10.8 as a bit of a tall one, this is a short and long person. With it, the weight range is also very similar to our normal LiTE home range, and all the other characteristics of our normal LiTE range of products is the same on the specification sheet.
Thank you, Mario. Then, yeah, so coming back to the fact that it's a LiTE 2 model means that it has that remote gateway. So you have the ability to onboard your LiTE 2 Marine units on the Freedom One portal. So if you go to our website, you'll see in the top right-hand corner of our homepage, there's a FW portal button. If you click on that button, you can create an account, after which you're then able to onboard any of the batteries that you have that are LiTE 2 units with remote gateways. So once that's done, what that means is you now have access to real-time diagnostics via the portal. So you can have visibility for end users, installers, technical support teams, and you can obviously choose what sort of rights each of those types of users have on the portal, whether it's read-only or they can edit and so forth. Historical data tracking, so you can track system performance over time for optimal management. You know, you can see, am I perhaps working my battery too hard, or am I underutilizing it where there's a bit more capacity that I can utilize? You get advanced system health tracking, so you can monitor the system health, whereby we track key metrics such as the states of health, temperature over time, and other essential performance indicators. We also have a custom state of health feature, whereby we use AI-driven analytics to provide you with an accurate overview of your battery's long-term sustainability. On the remote monitoring, management capabilities, we can apply remote profile updates and firmware upgrades to your battery. So whereas before you would have needed a PC on site and an connection for our team to jump on via like an AnyDesk session to do the firmware updates, that's now no longer required. As long as you've got a stable internet connection to your LiTE 2 Marine battery, our tech support team can troubleshoot remotely and apply those updates. Battery balancing monitoring, you can also ensure that your battery is balanced correctly to maximize its efficiency. Yeah, you're also able to track your charge and discharge times based on your usage. So in other words, we can give you an estimate on how long it will take to charge or discharge your battery. On the cell monitoring side, we have detailed monitoring at a cell level to identify any issues, including the likes of cell temperature, resistance, and voltage. I mentioned the troubleshooting, so we're able to support customers remotely. So it's just making everyone's life a lot easier. You know, you're in a position to support your end user in a much more efficient manner, as Freedom One's technical support team are able to support you in a much more efficient way. And of course, that means quicker response times, quicker troubleshooting. And ultimately, you know, by having the LiTE marine units with the remote gateway and the Freedom One portal, we're able to maximize your investments, you know, whereby we're able to ensure long-term sustainability and ensure that the battery operates as it should over the long term.
Thanks for that, Charl. The compatibilities. I think what we need to note on this is that with the Freedom One Marine range being a rugged, durable battery that comes with an IP65 rated enclosure, it pairs wonderfully with rugged inverters as well. So your outdoor inverters, fully compatible. On our website, you'll be able to see our interface guide. You'll be able to see all the inverters that our marine range is compatible with. The likes of the Victron 12 volts to 24 volt systems that you use in different camper applications and the likes. It comes with, we can then do custom CAN profiles available from Freedom One for unique inverter protocols. Again, that talks to the abilities of Freedom One to always be able to work with a customer, work with your requirements. And it supports robust communication for accurate SRC reporting, discharge, charge controls, temperature management, and safety shutdowns.
And then as with the standard LiTE range, we support the same type of warranty. So there's essentially two options that are available. So the first one being your standard performance warranty, where we offer a 10-year service life or 6,000 charge discharge cycles at an average DoD of 80%. In this scenario, the battery mustn't be operated above a 0.5 C discharge and a 0.25 C charge. Whereas compared to the alternate performance warranty, we also have a 10-year service life, but it supports 4,000 cycles at 80% DoD. In this scenario, you can the battery must not be operated above the max current or power levels stipulated in the specification sheet. So, for example, if a LiTE marine battery's maximum current or power levels are 1 C, that is what you can run the battery at. So to do your online warranty registration, it's a very simple process. As I mentioned, you create an account on the Freedom One portal. You know, the steps include, number one, ensure that your battery has an active internet connection during the setup, registered on the portal as an installer or an end user, after which you can then add installations and batteries to your profile. So it's quite neat, whereby you can have every single one of your installations listed. And if you open that up, you can see exactly what batteries are at that installation. At that point, you would have completed your warranty registration for each battery, and you can link those installations to different teams or users for easy management. On the batteries themselves, they do come with a unique QR code. So if you've already created an account and you scan that QR code, it will take you directly to the battery onboarding page, where it would have already populated or added the correct serial number for that battery. So it's a very fast, seamless process to get the batteries registered and online, essentially, whereby you can now monitor them. Previously in the previous webinar, we mentioned that the LiTE range have revised part numbers. So that also applies to the marine units. What we've done is we've tried to add a little bit more useful information to the part numbers. So I'm just going to walk you through that quickly. So right off the bat, you'll see that the first few letters and numbers refer to the product range. So we've got the FL2M, so it's a Freedom One LiTE 2 marine unit. We then state the nominal capacity. So for this particular unit, it would be a 10 kilowatt hour battery. We then also have your voltage category, which is your LVN. So your LVN generally refers to your low voltage options. We then have the version, which is B, for instance, which would be, if we ever release a new version of that particular battery where there's been a material change, for instance, where there's a significant change in performance, or maybe the battery casing sizes, we will then apply, we'll create it as a new version, or add it as a new version to our prices. So for instance, if we're on the B version now and we make a change to the casing size, or some, any material change, we would then change that to become version C. And then last but not least, we also state the voltage range, so your maximum voltage as well as your minimum voltage. So just some all-round useful information without really having to do too much investigating. You know exactly what sort of performance this battery supports.
Thanks, Charl. I think this is my favorite part. Why choose Freedom One? I think as Charl described in the intro, Freedom One's been around since 2012. We're a local company, local manufacturing, local engineering support, technical support based in country. And it's just something that we're proud of, that we are a South African brand, that we design, we manufacture, we support it. We work with our clients locally. We can work with the African conditions. We are so capable of working with our clients to design specific batteries for specific use applications. And I think the marine range of products does talk to that, because in the years gone by, we've designed some really cool batteries in the marine range, where, as Charl was talking about earlier, in the locomotive range, where we've gone quite big on some of these batteries to work with some big mining vehicles.
To add to that, like the use case that we used with Synergy, for instance, is a perfect example of whereby we had a valued customer come through to us and they said, listen, look, we like your marine range, but we need something slightly bigger. And without hesitation, the R&D team got to work, and we provided a solution that made sense for them. So I think we must be, if not the only, one of few manufacturers that are able to do that. Whereby we're able to look at non-standard options that are not part of the current product offering.
I guess if you can dream it, we can make it, and that's one of our philosophies. Yeah, if it's that important to you, we can make a plan, we can get it done. And it also speaks to our ongoing research and development. And it's just something that we are always striving to do better. I mean, now we're upgrading our LiTE 1 range to the LiTE 2 range. It's just speaking to that we constantly developing, constantly getting better at what we're doing, constantly trying to make our installers, our EPCs, our end users' lives a lot easier to deal with the product, to troubleshoot with the product. And it's just something that we're really proud of. And again, we've got a vast network of distributors that work with us. What we do notice on the marine range, because it's a very specific product, it's more made to order on their side. So you can expect a longer lead time on these products. But if we do get a forecast from our clients, and if it's for a big rollout, it's something we can fine tune on our side and get going. And again, time and tested solutions. Freedom One's been around longer. Freedom One's been around longer than our battery warranty. And that's just testimony to our quality of our product, to what the brand speaks of. And it's just something we should all be proud of. And it's something I think Charl and I are both proud of, that we've got batteries in field that are older than our warranty. So,
definitely,
you think of when we say retain capacity at end of life, it's so important that we've got batteries in field that we can have a look at, we can see that are still working and still operating at an optimum. And it also speaks to, I think, as you'll have heard in other webinars, that we do trade in our batteries, and that's how much we believe in our product. Where you can share your serial number with us, we can give you a preliminary trading value, and then once we get the battery back at Freedom One, we can do a full diagnostics of your battery and give you a market-related price on the product.
100%. Thank you, Mario. Cool. So yeah, with that being said, we are going to take a few questions now. So if you've got any questions, please pop it in the Q&A, and Mario and I will be more than happy to answer all of them. Cool. So I'm just having a quick scroll through to see what we've got here.
I think Tinsley's got a question. Who is your official distributor in Zimbabwe? It's EPC power, if I'm not EPC.
Or solar energy projects.
Yeah, solar energy projects. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is solar energy projects. If you go to our websites and look at our distributors page, you will see them there. I see Jacques asked if we should, if everyone should type or speak. If you could just type, please, in the comment section, Jacques, that would be much appreciated. Cool. So yeah, we'll just give everyone a few minutes to pop your questions through. But yeah, we hope this was insightful. I think you know, a lot of the time the focus on our end is on the LiTE range itself, or the LiTE 2 range itself. So it's been awesome to show a bit of love to the LiTE 2 marine range. You know, it really is a unique product range within our offering that we've been, you know, seeing get used in some super interesting applications. So I mean, it has the ability to open doors for different types of projects that you may not have thought were possible before. So I see Jacques has a question here. So he's asked, working in the marine industry, why would we choose to use Freedom One instead of something like Mastervolt? So look, I can't really speak to that competitor, but I can speak about Freedom One, and we're more than happy to do so. So I mean, yeah, when looking at the design of the marine units, it's obviously been designed from scratch for those types of applications, being IP rated, being a high quality unit all round, where we're using aluminium casings, we're using industrial grade breakers, and so forth. Furthermore, we're also using a state-of-the-art Orion BMS. So this is a BMS that we source from Orion, which are based in the USA. And we've been developing that BMS to perform at an optimal level with the rest of the Freedom One battery for over 14 years. So there's been a lot of R&D and a lot of time in the field already with our batteries. So, you know, when we speak to things like the warranty, we know that's something we can support. So on the warranty end, you know, we discuss the two different options, depending on which option you go for, your standard or alternate performance warranty option. You can get up to 6,000 cycles on the battery and an average DOD of 80%. But something that's quite special about the Freedom One warranty is that we guarantee a retain capacity of 60% at the end of that warranty period. So, you know, once the warranty expires or is ended, the period itself, you know, that battery's not on its last leg. It's still got plenty of life in it. And, you know, we state 60% on retain capacity on our warranty doc. But, you know, we can say that most of the time when we review the state of health of batteries out in the field, generally speaking, that it's actually quite a lot higher than that. So yeah, we've got confidence in the units. Yeah, over and above the battery itself and its respective warranty, there's a support aspect, you know, the fact that we are a large locally based manufacturer here in SA. We've got the necessary resources in place to support those batteries out in the field. You know, a sizable technical support team, a sizable engineering team. For larger projects, we can also get involved in the, you know, the early stages to help guide you in terms of how you need to spec your solution.
I think we've missed some, Charl. If we let's
I see Oliver's put one through here about the inverter compatibility. So do we have an inverter compatibility list? Oliver, 100%. If you go to the downloads page of our website, you will find our inverter interfacing guide, where it lists every type of inverter that the Freedom One batteries are compatible with. If there's a particular brand or model that's not on that list, we are more than happy to take a look at integrating with that particular unit.
I think, Charl, let me go back up to Tinsley. Do they offer customer support as in technical issues? This is for solar energy projects in Zimbabwe. Yes, they do. They are trained. They can assist with the technical issues on our batteries as your first line of support. And then if not, they will then, their technical department will be in touch with our technical department to resolve any issues that you have. We are in Zim quite often, seeing to sites that side. So we do have support popping by quite often in Zim. Dave, is there a pricing schedule available? Yes, there is. You can contact one of our 5 distributors, that being Energenic, Voltex, Seagen, ARB, and Harrods. They'd be able to assist you with pricing.
Yeah, Jacques has responded to our initial answer. Just with regards to why essentially choose a Freedom One battery, he said, noted our boats travel globally. What international support do you offer them, including remote assistance for boat owners whilst they're sailing around the world? So granted that the battery has a stable internet connection, our tech support team who are based here in South Africa can remotely support. So they can apply firmware or profile updates remotely, but it will be a requirement for you to have an internet connection on that boat. And I see Alice has shared a YouTube video link for us. So yeah, this is a great example of one of the customers that used our battery in their yacht who's sailing all over the world. So if you're interested in learning more about that, just check the link that Alice then shared in the comments.
Oliver asked, Olivier, do you currently have stock on hand of these units? If not, what is the manufacturing lead time? We currently don't have stock on them. As I mentioned earlier, these are unique products that we make to order. So you're looking at anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks. If for a larger rollout and we've got a forecast and understanding of your requirements, we can then bring the lead time down on that. Also, it depends where we can sometimes have them in stock when we are building out some of it. So it all depends. You can contact one of your distributors and see if at the moment we do have stock of those units. So I see Jacques, boats have Starlink.
Yeah. So we've got a question here. So can the LiTE Marine also be used as a drop-in battery replacing lead acid batteries, or does it need to communicate with the inverter? So just it definitely does need to communicate with the inverter, but what we've seen out in the field that there are certain inverter options, such as Victron, for instance, that have the ability for you to change or allow you to change settings on the inverters to state whether it's working with a lead acid battery or a lithium iron phosphate battery. So if that inverter has that capability, then yes, you could essentially do a straight swap and granted that the voltage, etc.
And I think just to add to that, Charl, it depends if the inverter is capable of charging and discharging a lithium product. If there isn't communication, we've seen in the past people use manual voltage set points and they input that manually into the inverter. You can find those set points on our installation guide as well.
I see Jacques put a question through on, do our batteries have in-MIA 2000 integration capabilities? Jacques, we'll have to just check on that for you. We'll make sure that the marketing team gets your email address through to us, and we'll get back to you on that one. Cool. So yeah, we'll give it another minute or two to see if there's any last few questions come through. Please feel free to send them through. We'll be more than happy to answer. Otherwise, we will conclude the session shortly. Cool. Awesome. Thank you everyone once again for joining us today. We hope it was an insightful session. If you have any additional questions or any requirements for something like a quote, for instance, then please either reach out directly to one of our authorized distributors, and if not that, then give us a shout directly. We'll be more than happy to assist you.